The Jordan Show on YouTube.
Welcome back to the deep dive, and you know what? This one is kind of bittersweet because this is our final deep dive into Intel.
Yeah, it really is, but we are going out with a bang.
Yeah.
Going out with a really human focus on the company.
Yeah, so we spent the last 4 episodes, right, going deep on all those mind-blowing innovations they created, their competitive spirit, how Moore's Law shaped the whole tech world, really. But today we're going behind the scenes. We're getting personal. This is all about the people behind those silicon curtains, right?
The people behind the chips.
Yeah.
The code.
Yeah, the teams, the engineers, the leaders.
It's like we've been studying this incredible machine, this company.
Right.
And now we're going to meet the minds that designed and built it.
Exactly. So, like, what do you think it was really like to work at Intel in those golden years? Like, can you just imagine?
Well, first we gotta kind of bust this myth, I think, that Intel's success was solely due to its founders. Of course, Noyce, Moore, and Grove, they laid the foundation. Right, but their legacy continued on through the leaders they inspired.
So it wasn't just like a one-man show, right?
Right.
So who are some of those lesser-known leaders who kept the Intel engine running?
Well, take Craig Barrett, for instance.
Okay.
He joined Intel in '74 as a metallurgist.
A metallurgist?
Yeah.
That's not your typical, like, Silicon Valley background.
Not your typical tech CEO background.
No.
But he rose through the ranks and became CEO in '98.
Okay.
And under his leadership, Intel expanded not just globally, but he strategically targeted emerging markets like China and India, recognizing their future importance.
So he was like playing the long game, right?
Yeah.
Like he was placing bets on these markets before they became like the powerhouses they are today.
Exactly. And that foresight secured Intel's dominance even as the PC market started to mature. Then you have Paul Otellini, the first non-engineer to become CEO.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a huge departure, marking a real shift from the founder era. And he took the helm in 2005, right as smartphones, cloud computing, all these things were reshaping the tech world.
I mean, that must have been a crazy time to be like the head of Intel, right? I mean, did his background even matter? Like, did that play a role in how he kind of navigated this changing landscape?
Absolutely. I mean, while Intel faced some challenges adapting to, like the mobile revolution, Otellini's business acumen was critical in keeping them at the forefront, I think, of PCs and data centers.
Yeah.
You needed somebody who understood the cutting edge engineering, but also had the business savvy to turn those innovations into market dominating products.
Right, because one without the other isn't enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
That dual expertise, I think, was really key to navigating the demands of the tech industry at the time.
It's like they had this secret sauce for developing leaders, right? Like they were equally comfortable in like both worlds.
For sure. But we can't forget the unsung heroes
Yeah.
behind the scenes making it all happen.
The engineers. Right. Like
Yeah.
every Intel processor that like revolutionized computing had a team of brilliant minds behind it. I mean, we've already talked about Federico Faggin,
Of course.
right, and his role in developing the 4004 microprocessor. But who else should we be shouting out right now?
Absolutely. People like Daddy Perlmutter,
Okay.
he was a major driving force behind the core processors. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
A radical departure.
Yeah, they were. Like when those came out, it felt like a big leap forward.
Huge.
But like in the technical sense, like what made them so special?
Perlmutter's team recognized that the future of computing was heading towards mobile and energy efficiency.
Yeah.
So they focused on multi-core designs, power optimization, a gamble, but it paid off
Big time.
big time.
So they weren't just making chips faster, it was like a whole new approach to processor design.
Exactly. This move leapfrogged the competition and laid the foundation for the laptops and smartphones we use today.
It's a great example of how they were always anticipating those future trends.
Always. And speaking of engineering heroes, we can't forget a young engineer named Pat Gelsinger,
Okay.
who way back in the 80s cut his teeth as the lead architect of the 8486 processor.
Wait, so the current CEO of Intel, way back when, was designing chips.
He was.
Wow.
It speaks to the depth of talent and experience at Intel. And these individual stories, are fascinating, but they point to a larger narrative of Intel's drive to push the boundaries of what's possible.
It sounds like working at Intel wasn't just a job, it was an experience, a way of life. It makes you wonder what the culture was like, how they nurtured this kind of innovation.
It really was. And It definitely wasn't for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, like imagine a workplace where every decision, big or small,
Okay.
was driven by data.
So not just gut feeling or like, who's the loudest voice in the room.
Nope. Everyone had to have the data to back it up.
So it wasn't just the execs. It
Yeah.
was like engineers, marketers.
Everyone. Like down to the factory floor, like everyone was encouraged to challenge ideas, propose solutions,
Right.
as long as you had the data.
That's pretty empowering, especially for younger engineers who might be, intimidated by like a more traditional hierarchy.
For sure. It fostered this culture of meritocracy where the best ideas rose to the top,
Yeah.
regardless of who proposed them.
I love that.
And this was key to their success because it allowed them to stay ahead of the curve in such a fast-paced industry.
Right. But wasn't there also like a darker side to this culture? Like I've heard stories about Intel being super intense,
Oh, yeah.
like even cutthroat at times.
It wasn't all sunshine and roses, that's for sure.
Right.
Like it was known for its demanding pace and just relentless pursuit of excellence.
Okay.
There's a reason why Andy Grove's famous mantra, "Only the paranoid survive,"
Right.
resonated so deeply.
That's pretty intense. How did that like paranoia play out in the day-to-day?
It created this sense of urgency, like this constant need to be ahead of the competition. So you had engineers pulling all-nighters,
Yeah.
fueled by, pizza and adrenaline.
Of course.
Just to meet deadlines, solve these complex problems.
Wow.
There was this pervasive fear of becoming complacent.
Right, like if you stop moving, you're gonna get run over.
Exactly.
But definitely not a place for like, the faint of heart, right? But like, did this always on mentality have a downside? Did it lead to burnout? Or did it, stifle any dissenting voices?
Those are great questions, and it's complicated.
Yeah.
While this intensity was a source of innovation and drive,
Yeah.
it also had drawbacks.
Right.
There were definitely cases of burnout, and some people felt this pressure to conform, even if they had doubt.
It sounds like a classic double-edged sword.
It is.
Yeah, the same culture that fueled their success.
Yeah,
Could also be a source of stress, exhaustion.
definitely.
But it also sounds like there was this strong sense of camaraderie,
Oh, yeah.
like being part of something really special.
Absolutely. Despite the demanding environment, Intel employees formed really strong bonds. They shared this sense of purpose, right?
Right.
Like being part of a team that was changing the world.
Yeah, one chip at a time.
One chip at a time, and many of those bonds extended beyond the workplace,
Yeah.
became lifelong friendships.
It's amazing how like a company's culture can just shape the people who work there.
Oh,
And speaking of Intel's impact, we can't overlook the legacy of their alumni network.
it's a remarkable thing. Like companies like Fairchild, before them, Intel became this breeding ground for future tech leaders.
Right.
It's like they were graduating a generation of entrepreneurs, engineers, executives.
It's like Intel DNA,
It is.
spreading throughout the valley and beyond.
Everywhere.
Like you see it everywhere. Pat Gelsinger coming back to lead Intel after his time as CEO of VMware.
Yeah.
That's like a homecoming story.
It is. And there are tons of others.
Oh, yeah.
Renee James, a former Intel president, founded Ampere Computing, who's making waves in the ARM processor world.
Okay.
And Diane Bryant, who led Intel's data center group,
Wow.
became COO of Google Cloud.
Wow. It's like whatever they were doing at Intel, the culture, the drive, the brilliance, it just spread. What's the secret sauce that they instilled in people that made them so successful?
That's the question, isn't it? Maybe it's the combination of the technical rigor, the pursuit of excellence, the belief that they were truly changing the world.
As we wrap up this final deep dive into the people of Intel, I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
It feels that way, yeah.
There are so many stories, so many individuals who made this legacy happen.
Absolutely.
What are some of the key takeaways we can glean from this journey?
Well, first and foremost, it reinforces the idea that great companies are built by great teams.
Yes.
It's not just about individual brilliance, it's about collaboration, shared purpose, that collective drive.
Like a well-oiled machine, all the parts working together.
Exactly.
What else?
The importance of company culture, you can't overstate it.
Right.
Intel's values, the accountability, the data-driven decisions, the relentless innovation.
They were like baked in.
It was in their DNA.
Yeah.
That's what allowed them to stay ahead for so long.
It sounds like they created this culture where people were challenged but supported,
Yeah,
pushed to their limits but given freedom
exactly.
to experiment,
Yeah.
to innovate.
And amidst all the talk about, technology and innovation, it's easy to forget about the human element.
Right.
The people of Intel remind us that even in the most complex fields, it's human passion, creativity, determination that drives progress.
Absolutely, their stories are inspiring.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what lessons can we take from Intel's journey and apply it to our own lives and careers? What do you think about that? Yeah, it really makes you think. I mean, these were pioneers. These weren't just like, brilliant engineers and savvy business leaders. Like, they helped shape the world we live in.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so inspiring about Intel's story. It's not just, oh, they made microprocessors. Like, they helped bring about the PC revolution, the internet boom. I mean, their impact is huge.
It's crazy to think about. They started in a garage in Santa Clara
Yeah.
and became this global giant. And it's not just the tech, right?
No.
It's the people.
It is. It's a testament to, human ingenuity, collaboration, a shared vision. They took risks, they pushed boundaries, and they changed the world.
And they're not done yet.
Not even close.
I mean, they've had some challenges, sure.
Yeah.
But they're still a force in the tech world.
Absolutely. With Pat Gelsinger back, it feels like they're getting back to that engineering spirit that made them so successful in the first place. Like, they're doubling down on innovation. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do next.
So as we close out our deep dive into the people of Intel, I have a question for you out there listening. What lessons from Intel's journey really spoke to you?
Yeah, what can we learn from these
Pioneer.
unsung heroes, right?
Yeah. They shaped the digital age. What are your thoughts?
For me, it's that reminder that even the most ambitious goals, they can be achieved. You need the right team, the right culture, a pursuit of excellence. But you also got to remember the human side of it, the passion, the creativity, the drive. That's what fuels it all.
Well said. And who knows, maybe some of you listening will go on to create the next Intel, the next company that changes the world.
And if you do, don't forget the lessons we've talked about today. Leadership, culture, teamwork, and that constant push to break boundaries.
That's right. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode, by the way, so feel free to reach out.
Share your reflections.
Yeah, what resonated with you? Any questions you still have about the people of Intel? Let us know. And be sure to join us next time as we jump into a new deep dive series. This time we're exploring the rise and fall of another Silicon Valley icon.
Sun Microsystems.
Get ready for another wild ride.